There are some things in this world we're not meant to see. Shadows lurking in places where light never quite reaches. And when we do catch a glimpse of these things, they see us back. X9-B7, a shadowy figure that blurs the line between nightmare and reality. It's been spotted on security cameras, in mirrors, in the corner of a witness's eye. And once you see it, it's already too close. The first recorded sighting of X9-B7 occurred in the late hours of August 15, 1988, in Clearwater, Florida. Security guard James Fuller was alone in his office, keeping watch over the empty corridors of a nearly abandoned shopping mall. By all accounts, it was an ordinary night, until it wasn't. Fuller described a strange shadow flickering on his monitor, a figure that seemed to appear and disappear, moving between the edges of the screen. At first, he thought it was just a camera glitch, an error with the old equipment. But then, the shadow moved closer. It wasn't just a shadow. Fuller swore that it moved with purpose, almost as if it knew he was watching. Each time he looked back at the screen, the figure seemed a little closer, a little clearer. He began to feel an unexplainable fear, a sense of dread so deep it made his skin crawl. He couldn't look away. He described it in his report as an overwhelming sense of being watched. X9-B7 isn't just a shadow. Witnesses who have caught a glimpse describe it as something otherworldly, a flickering figure that seems to shift in shape with every second. Its form is always just out of focus, blurred at the edges, as if it's fighting to keep itself in our world. It doesn't look solid, but it isn't quite transparent either. Some say it's almost human-shaped, but the outline changes each time you look away. When viewed directly, the figure blurs into darkness, as if hiding just beyond sight. But look away, and it inches closer. Imagine something caught between this world and the next. A figure that isn't fully here, but isn't fully gone. Witnesses describe a form that seems to pulse, as if feeding on the fear of those who dare to watch it. Fuller's reports became stranger with each shift. He noted a creeping feeling of paranoia, as if the figure had left the screen and was somewhere in the room with him. His notes described symptoms that intensified with every sighting. I can't shake it. I see it even when I'm not at work. I feel it lurking, in the corner of my eye, in reflections. It feels like it's always watching, just waiting for me to notice. Eventually, Fuller became so consumed by his encounters with X9-B7 that he couldn't separate reality from nightmare. He reported seeing the figure not only on the monitors, but in mirrors, out of the corner of his eye, even in the darkness of his own home. Fuller wasn't alone in his symptoms. Over the years, those who claimed to have seen X9-B7 reported a specific set of symptoms that lingered long after the encounter. These symptoms aren't just physical. Witnesses often report psychological effects, paranoia, confusion, and a strange inability to remember certain details. It's as if X9-B7 erases pieces of their memory, leaving behind only a lingering sense of dread. Fuller's wasn't the only account. Over the years, others claim to have encountered X9-B7, each with their own chilling stories. There are many theories about what X9-B7 might be. Some say it's a psychological phenomenon, a trick of the mind that thrives on fear. Others believe it's a visual parasite, a creature that exists in shadows, feeding off the terror of those who notice it. Some documents, though heavily redacted, suggest a darker explanation. There are rumors that X9-B7 was once a government experiment, a forgotten project designed to manipulate visual perception. But something went wrong, and now it's loose. finding new hosts through screens and mirrors. In his final days, Fuller became obsessed with X9-B7. He would watch the footage over and over, convinced that the figure was getting closer, as if it were crossing the boundary between screen and reality. Then, one night, Fuller vanished. Security footage caught him walking into the darkest part of the mall, where the cameras had all failed. He was last seen walking toward an area completely shrouded in darkness, his face lit only by a flickering light. Fuller was never seen again. All that was left were his notes, filled with frantic scrawls about a figure in the shadows. Always watching, always waiting. If you think you've seen X9-B7, even if just for a moment, don't look any closer. Some say that every time you see it, it gets a little closer, a little clearer. Turn off your screen. Avoid mirrors for at least 24 hours. Those who've seen X9-B7 say it never really leaves. It becomes a shadow in the corner of your eye, a flicker in every reflection. It's as if it's waiting for you to look. Not everyone can see X9-B7, but for those who can, it's already too late.